This is one of the most aggressive chess games I have ever seen in my life, in which you will see positions like this. In this position, there is a brilliant sacrifice. Can you spot it? But before we get there, here's why the game matters. Mikhail Tal was dangerous and Bobby Fischer was precise. We all know that. And they had already played 4 times before this game, and Fischer was never even able to beat Tal even once. So how does this position happen? The game started when Robert James Fischer with the white pieces started the game with e4 and Mikhail Tal responds with the Sicilian. Going with the e6 variation, which is actually known as the Taimanov, which enables the dark squared bishop to develop early in the cost of these squares are now very, very weak. So knight c3, which is a logical move, and now queen c7 is played, which is really trying to protect the square on the d6 square, which is kind of weak. And now knight b5 seems to be very, very tempting, but believe it or not, queen b8 is actually completely fine here, and black is completely fine, protecting the pawn on square on c7. So that is why knight b to d5 is not played in this position, and g3 is played, which is a very, very great move, a double-edged move, like enabling the light squared bishop to fianchetto there and maybe castle. And the second thing being that I can go for bishop f4, attack the queen, and then go for knight b5, take the control of the c7 square. e6 is completely important in this position to stop knight b5 ideas. But Mikhail Tal, after writing that down in the notation book, stood up and started roaming around the chessboard, only to come back and realize that he had not played e6 and actually played knight f6, and he had some kind of mind disturbance there. I don't know how, but he did. And that's what he said in the post interview. So now knight b5 following the idea to attacking the queen. So once the queen moves back, and now bishop f4 is played following the idea, taking control of the c7 square. Knight e5, which is a mistake. And now you can see here that the knight is of course pinned. So you can go for queen d4 to try and attack the knight and try to win it. But the thing with queen d4 is that simply loses the game, because I can simply go for knight f3 and take the queen. Queen d4 doesn't work in this position, and now bishop e2 is played, which is a very, very great move trying to stop knight f3. And so now queen d4 simply becomes a very good threat now. Bishop c5 is played, stopping the threat, and now simple takes back, pushes for f4, which is a very, very great attacking chances you can't take, because I will simply take back. And the only move in this position is back on b8, stopping the knight c7 ideas. And now e5 is played, which is a very, very great move, attacking the knight there. So there is actually just only one move with the knight, which is knight b8. But Robert James Fischer as well as Mikhail Tal both said in this position that their back is very, very bad. Like the knight is very hard to develop, and these pieces are crashing in, and that is already like +2 position for white. So that is why in this position, the only trying to attack move is e6 is played. That if you take my knight, I can take yours, and after it takes, I can go there. This is what happens in the game. So now, not taking back the pawn on b5, a very, very, very great move in this position. That is knight e4 is played by Fischer, attacking the bishop, and also there is some threats of knight f6 trying to pick up the rook due to a fort. So the only move saving everything up in this position is bishop back to e7, stopping this. So now queen d4 is played, which is a very, very great move with the idea to protect the pawn there. And now knight f6 ideas also become possible. So rook e4 is played, attacking the queen, and this forces white to go for knight f6 check. And after takes, now you can see here the queen has come too far in the territory, and now there is a big threat of bishop h5 attacking the pawn on f7, and that is completely losing. So that is why in this position queen c7 is played, which seems like a losing move. I just go there and win. But the idea with that move is that after playing d5, the queen will be laterally protecting the pawn on f7. And now you can see that the queen is also eyeing to the pawn on c2. Because if you go there, this is just a, what do you say that? A perpetual check, and this might be a draw. So that is why in this position now castles take place, which is a very, very brave move played by Fischer, that he calculated. He protected the pawn on c2, but left the pawn hanging on a2. What he calculated in this position is that if black takes, I can go there, and if you like go for like queen a5 things to threaten mate, I can simply go for b3, and now these squares are simply protected by the queen on f6. So that is why in this position, so that is why he moves back with his queen, with his rook on e6, sacrificing the pawn on b5. Now I will show, like, I mean, simply trying to tunnel vision the queen after playing like e5 moves. So white simply takes rook b6, protecting as well as attacking, and the bishop just moves back, trying to put some pressure on the h7 square. I mean, if I am able to take there, I am completely winning in. So now e5 is played, which is the only move in this position, attacking the queen. So you can't go there because I will simply take, and after takes it is not worth it. Mikhail Tal is completely winning. So what do you think would Fischer do in this position? Will he retreat with his queen or to a safety square and give up the pawn, or what will he do? What do you think? Or take there and take there with the queen and try to win the pawn? So I will give you 4 seconds to actually see this brilliant sacrifice in this position. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the brilliant sacrifice that Bobby Fischer played in this position is f takes on e4, which is a very, very great move, completely sacrificing the queen, because after takes, that is what happens in the game. Now you can see here the pawn on h7 is completely unprotectable, can never be protected, and after there I am completely winning. Rook e1 checks are also very, very good. So that is why now queen c5 is played. I will show you what's the motive of that move. Was after takes, now queen g5 is played. What Mikhail Tal thought here, that of course I am losing, but these two pawns are really, really strong. So what Mikhail Tal thought here is that after takes, I can take there, and now the pawn on g7 is unprotectable. So now Robert James Fischer simply goes for rook f1, attacking the queen as well as eyeing to the pawn on f7. So once take, if you take, I mean, I just take there, and then I get the pawn back. If you take, I'm up an exchange and 2 pawns, and that is completely winning endgame. So that is why in this position, simple move. So after playing queen h6, the h2 pawn is attacked, and also the e6 bishop is attacked. So now simple takes, and after takes, queen rook f7 is played, simply winning the bishop. And now this position is like completely winning for white, and Bobby Fischer completely like dominated this position and converted the game, effortlessly winning the game. So in this exact position, Robert James Fischer won the game with Mikhail Tal resigning. So thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you guys liked the game as much as I did. And make sure to like and subscribe, because this is a small channel. It would really help. Check out this video in which I show the brilliant games of Judith Polgar.